Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have some Ripple news today. We have some Bitcoin news today, Brics Nations news. We have some Stellar, some XLM based news. I was very happy to see that. And we have some silver news at the end if I didn't say that already. Now, this article here, we'll begin with this, is titled, Ripple Makes Investment in Morgan State University. It says Ripple has bolstered its academic push by making another investment in Baltimore-based Morgan State University. Baltimore-based Morgan State University has received $1 million grant from Ripple, according to a Tuesday announcement. The investment will further contribute to the development of the university's National FinTech Center. Notably, Ripple's funding will be used for supporting research projects that focus on bridging blockchain with such cutting-edge technologies as machine learning and artificial intelligence. The center has emerged as a hub for blockchain research, allowing students to develop their skills in such areas as digital assets, blockchain, payment systems, and so on. The latest investment from Ripple will make it possible for MSU to be, quote, at the forefront, unquote, of the ongoing, quote, fintech revolution, unquote. According to Ali Imdad, the center's founding director, it also ensures that I'm not sure how widely it's going to be known that Ripple is the reason behind a lot of this going on, but let's say that it is. Would that not lean a lot of people towards maybe seeking employment with Ripple later? A lot of brilliant minds putting efforts towards Ripple technology, possibly. It's not a guarantee. I'm just saying. I've seen this over the years with Ripple, Algorand, I believe Stellar also, where they weave their way into the universities and, I believe they also have their accelerator programs also available, where I think it leans it in their favor that they're going to be getting a lot of brilliant minds working on their technologies. And we've seen that over the years, have we not? A lot of these investments come back later and, it does pretty good for them. So, it's also a good opportunity for a lot of these college students to be able to get hands-on experience with these technologies. And then, of course, a lot of these fintechs, apparently, according to articles, they treat their workers very, very good, which is opposed to, let's say, institutions like banks, legacy financial institutions, where we've read reports that they don't treat their people well. We read a very, very crazy article about the FDIC as one example. And I think the video was titled that also. So if you want to hear about that, go watch that video. But the FDIC is involved in terrible things. They've been treating their people absolutely horribly. But I'm just juxtaposing. These Bankcoin companies seem to treat their people very, very well. So that's a good opportunity. It's always good to be able to get work or to work if you have to work for someone, to work in an environment that actually is treating you with respect. That's very rare. So now let's move on here. We have another Ripple article. This article is titled Ripple's Latest Move Bolsters It as a Digital Asset Custody Provider. We saw this when they, what was that company that they acquired? Metaco, right? Let's see what else they're doing here. It says Ripple is transitioning into a full service digital asset custody provider. Following its acquisition of Metaco. Okay, there you go. Following its acquisition of Metaco, a Swiss-based leader in the sector, for $250 million in May 2023, this development represents a significant expansion of the fintech's capabilities into the institutional crypto custody market, a segment that is expected to experience substantial growth over the next decade. Yes, but what happened? Is there more? Then they talk about the integration of Ripple. Okay, so this is what's going on. The integration of Metaco's offerings into Ripple services, so they're combining everything now, was formally announced via X. In a statement shared on the platform, Metaco declared, quote, all Metaco updates and news for institutional grade custody solutions can now be found on Ripple. They've been making a lot of progress lately. This move allows us to better connect with our community and provide even more valuable insights, unquote. This move underscores a strategic alignment and integration of technologies and services between the two companies. Wow. All right. Is it just me, or is there a lot of big things happening with Ripple? You saw what happened with SBI and XRP and XRPL in Japan. there was something that happened with Ripple recently also, and it involved the CBDC platform in Hong Kong. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was in the last like 3 weeks, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was that. They've been doing a lot of things as we draw closer and closer to the close of this, the closing of this case officially. I know it's pretty much over, but I need to hear that officially, like it's over. There's no more. We're done. That's what's going to have a huge effect. You know why? Because I just personally feel like the one thing we haven't seen, not personally feel like, the one thing we haven't seen that I think will happen after that immediately are announcements on new partnerships. And I think they've been holding that back. So, that's always at the forefront of my mind, right? And I think that's a huge catalyst. All right, so now let's move on here. We have some Bitcoin news. Hey, the markets were looking pretty good today, weren't they? Yeah, things were looking good. Looking a little bit green. Don't get too happy now. I was getting a little excited. I can't lie to you. I was getting a little excited. Feels good when you see all that green. Anyway, this article is titled Bitcoin crosses $66,000 as traders eye two key indicators for $70,000 target. It says the GAN fans model, an emerging inverse head and shoulders pattern, are at the top of traders' minds as they try to determine whether Bitcoin can, quote, bounce, unquote, above its all-time high. I'm just happy it's green right now. You want to be honest. It says Bitcoin jumped 7.54% in the past 24 hours and pushed past $65,000. Wait, let me pause for a moment. Listen, I am not one who takes moments for granted, and I am not one who is greedy. I'm not greedy in any type of way. I'm very humble. Very monk-like. There's a reason for that, right? I live very humbly as much as I can. Keep myself as humble as I possibly can. So I'm appreciating the moment that everything's green and it seems to be going well. Things are going up. A lot of things going up. I saw Songbird went up. Of course, it had dropped down, but it looked like it went up about 18%. So that's pretty good as well. No, not that it hasn't surpassed these levels many times before. I'm just saying, but it coming back up, it's pretty good. Just something that stood out. I saw Solana doing well also. Bitcoin jumped 7.54% in the past 24 hours and pushed past $65,000 amid positive United States inflation data, with traders now keeping an eye on two indicators for a potential rise to $70,000. Pseudonymous crypto trader Blockchain Main, I love that name, Blockchain Main. It says, told Cointelegraph they are closely observing the GAN fans model. I just want to know, why is that person's name Blockchain Main? Do they like Gucci? They like Gucci Mane. Anyway, I don't know. Just pops in my head. This is a key indicator. Gucci Mane is a really good rapper. All right. Listen, I listened to Gucci before people even knew who Gucci Mane was on the mixtapes when So Icy. Remember So Icy? When So Icy was out. That's how deep I go. But I will say this, because I see this debate happening on the internet. A lot of people say, well, Gucci Mane is better than Jeezy because, Young Jeezy and Gucci came out at the same time. But I will say this. Listen, I listened to a lot of those early mixtapes from Young Jeezy, most of his mainstream albums, and I have to give the edge to Young Jeezy. He's just, some of his songs are deep, like Dreamin' or Don't Do It. Deep stuff that really touches your soul, touches your spirit. And he can also make that hardcore music as well. He's very diverse. Gucci can also, but I lean towards Jeezy more, but I like them both. Anyway, pseudonymous crypto trader Blockchain Main told Cointelegraph they are closely observing the GAN fans model, a key indicator that analyzes the geometric and cyclical movement of the crypto market to see if Bitcoin can, quote, remain bullish, unquote. Quote, GAN fans are interesting, almost like a time and price momentum indicator, unquote. They said, explaining it helps to better visualize the market cycles and price action. Quote, in terms of GAN timing, we are at a pivot in the market cycle, directly in the center of the current phase. If we pivot to the upside, then we can see a markup phase until the end of May, unquote, they explained. All right, so we're going to leave that one here. Things are looking good for Bitcoin and crypto right now. I hope it continues, but I do expect the volatility. I'll tell you that much. Expect the unexpected at all times in crypto. Now, this next article is titled Bitcoin Self-Custody Enshrined as a Right in Oklahoma. Good job, Oklahoma. It says a novel crypto bill protects citizens' rights to hold, spend, and mine Bitcoin as long as they do it quietly. What does that mean? How would you do it otherwise? I don't understand that, but hey, still good job. It says Oklahoma has become the first U.S. state to pass a law protecting the right to self-custody Bitcoin. The new law says citizens cannot be prevented from holding and controlling digital assets using a hardware wallet. It also says that the state government cannot ban or restrict the use of crypto to purchase legal goods and services. The so-called Bitcoin Rights Bill, HB 3594, was signed into law by Oklahoma's Governor Kevin Stitt on Monday. And the nonprofit Satoshi Action Fund says more states will follow suit. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, what states are they? Just tell me now. Tell me the potential states. It says, quote, I think at the end of the day, lawmakers across the country are very open to this type of policy, unquote, the fund's CEO and co-founder Dennis Porter told Decrypt. The bill also mentions digital asset mining, allowing ordinary citizens to take part in the industry within limits. Quote, it shall be legal in the state of Oklahoma to participate in home digital asset mining, as long as the person engaging in home digital asset mining complies with all local noise ordinances, unquote, the law read. Listen, I don't get that deep with crypto, all right? I don't do mining. Is it loud or something like that? Like, I don't understand why they're saying that. Why would mining Bitcoin violate noise ordinances? I just don't understand that. But once again, I don't proclaim to know everything. I don't do mining, so I wouldn't know. It says here, crypto mining involves minting. Oh, so then they go into that, but we know what that is. So let's move on here to the Stellar article. All right. Come on, Stellar. Tell me something good. So this article is titled Stellar XLM activates major upgrade on testnet. What comes next? I don't know. Tell me what's going on. Stellar XLM recently initiated a significant milestone by activating Protocol 21 on its testnet. This move marks a pivotal moment for the Stellar network as the countdown begins to the upgrade's mainnet activation. It says here, on June 18th, 2024, Stellar public network validators will vote on whether to upgrade the network to Protocol 21, which, if approved, will activate 5 new core advancement protocols. Proposals on Stellar mainnet. Then they have the tweet cropped here. It says network update. The Stellar testnet has been upgraded to Protocol 21. Here's what comes next. May 30th, stable releases of Stellar Core, Horizon, and RPC. June the 11th, testnet reset. June 18th, mainnet upgrade vote. Check Protocol 21 upgrade guide for the most up-to-date, etc. These 5 caps introduce some new features such as passkey signing support, an improvement to the state archive, and a few overall cost improvements for smart contract transactions. Stellar stays committed to constantly improving the network efficiency and reducing fees. Fees are already almost non-existent, but okay. Its network seeks to provide equal access to the global financial system and caps 0054, 0055, and 0056. Which will be deployed as part of the Protocol 21 upgrade, aiming to keep the Stellar network accessible and cost-effective for all users. On February the 20th, 2024, validators voted to upgrade to Protocol 20, which brought Sorrel-banned smart contracts to Stellar's public network. Since then, developers worldwide have successfully deployed smart contracts to the Stellar mainnet. The biggest news recently was when Wisdom Tree came out with that article. Once again, my apologies, I didn't cover it. But Wisdom Tree came out with, an article. There was an article on what they said, and they were praising Stellar. Now, that was huge. That was maybe about 2 weeks ago. That was huge. To have Wisdom Tree currently praising Stellar, that's going to be heard by a lot of other big companies. And this comes at the right time because we're almost through officially with this SEC case. And then I believe that these bank coin companies will have the opportunity. It's not a guarantee. I'm not a lawyer. It's not financial advice. I think they will have an opportunity to run wild. So to have big eyes on Stellar because Wisdom Tree is shouting, hey, Stellar's the best from the treetops. That was huge. That was major, but time will tell. We shall see. Let's move on here. We have a little bit of Brics Nation news today. So I was talking about this recently where I found it highly questionable that there are NATO allies and NATO members that are trying to become members of Brics nations. But the reason why I brought that up recently was because some of those nations, like France, I chose France specifically because there were ideas coming out of France about de-dollarization, which was shocking. How were people not talking about this? They said, hey, some of us, over there in that region may need to step away from the dollar. Look that up on Google. Use Perplexity or Bing.com or something. I'm telling you. And when they said that, I was just flabbergasted. I was like, why would you say that? That's your ally. I don't know. Some strange things are going on, folks. But I don't know if Brics nations, because of their agenda of full de-dollarization and obviously economic dominance, I'm not sure they would trust someone like France. But anyway, let's read this little tidbit here. It says, the Brics economic bloc is set to continue its expansion effort this year, and a plethora of European countries are seeking to join the collective in 2024. How does that work? You have China over there. You have Russia over there. How do you interact with them if you're... I just don't get where I'm going with it. I just don't understand that. And yes, okay, some people will say it's just purely economic. Economics is the main tool of battle right now. It says, indeed, reports have suggested that several European nations are seeking consideration for expansion invitations in the upcoming summit. Who? A recent visit to Europe by China's Xi Jinping showcased a mutual desire for partnership. Really? The leading nation of the Brics bloc saw its president receive a warm reception from European Union nations. Subsequently, it affirms previous reports of Europe's potential place in an expanded alliance. So I'm scrolling down here. They have a lot of images here. Bear with me one moment. But who are the countries? Name them. It says, for much of this year, Brics alliance has been the most important geopolitical force. That's debatable. It's the most focused on, it's the most popularly reported on, because no one really knows the impact that their common currency or digital local currencies are going to have on the world. No one really knows if they're going to back it with gold. I think they back it with a basket of commodities. Why wouldn't you? Gold, silver. Maybe you throw a little platinum in there, maybe a little bit of copper. I'm not sure. But I would have a basket of commodities instead of just relying on just one. Why not? It says here, moreover, it has sought to grow its membership base to include more nations seeking a multipolar world. There goes that verbiage again, multipolar, which just means fragmented. Everything is fragmented. That's to our benefit in the new financial system. 100%, folks. 100%. With the collective's 2024 summit fast approaching, the idea of expansion continues to be discussed. The bloc has affirmed the increasing likelihood that more nations will be invited. Moreover, Europe may implement its renewed interest as it seeks participation. But who in Europe? South African Brics ambassador Anil Suklal had previously stated that the interest of European countries in joining the Brics alliance. The way they wrote this is a little strange to me. Specifically, during a 2-day gathering in Cape Town, the ambassador noted that, quote, Latin America, Asia, and Europe had sought entry into Brics bloc. Unless you're going to give us more information, I mean, this doesn't carry too much weight. What countries? I know France said something before. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Give me something. Moreover, the potential for that engagement to extend to the Brics expansion efforts is likely, considering mutual interest. Xi's visit concluded with a signed strategic partnership between France, Serbia, and Hungary. Okay. Things are getting interesting, folks. Let's move down here. But just to clarify, China doesn't have it's not all on China to make those decisions. This is among European nations. France has been the most outspoken and its international allegiance to Brics nations. Subsequently, French President Emmanuel Macron continued his advocacy for increased relations with China. All right, there you go. So is that it? Just France again? They said something last year about wanting to join, but the Brics nation said no. So why would it change now? I don't understand that. But I guess we'll keep up to date on this, and maybe more information will come out, I'm sure. So now, a little bit of crazy bank news, which is, I find this concerning, actually. We just read about a customer from Wells Fargo, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, that had their bank account drained, and now there's another one. Man, I think the last one, how much was that? That was like, was it $3,000? Something like that, 3,000? Or what was it, 30,000? I'm not sure. Well, we have this article here from thesun.com, and it's titled, Cash Grab. Wells Fargo customer sees $20,000 drained from account. And once again, it's the same technique, folks. Be careful if you're getting messages to your phone. Like, I have something on my phone where it's supposed to not allow anyone that doesn't have my number to send me a text message. Like, it, I have a couple of things that I use, it helps to have quadruple encryption also on your phone, to protect yourself. I'm just saying. Anyway, it says text from bank. The same thing happened not only at Wells Fargo. There was a couple of other banks that's happened that we reported on. So be careful of those text messages. What I'm saying, it says 5 different clerks could have stopped it. Whoa, but why didn't they? It says a Wells Fargo customer watched helplessly as $20,000 was drained from their account after they were targeted in a sick scheme. Okay, so this is a little bit different. This person actively is seeing this happen. The other person, I believe what happened, what we read was they had contacted the bank. The bank said everything was okay. And they went back to check days later and only to find that their account was drained. I think that's what we read before. But it's hard to keep up with all of this stuff. There's been a lot of crazy stuff happening in the banks. But let's read this little tidbit. It says it all started when the victim got a text that they thought was from their bank. It's always the same. But it turned out to be something more sinister. Bear with me one moment, please. I'm scrolling down. Is this the person's? Did they put a mugshot up here? I think they did. Bro, wow. The scammer messaged the Wells Fargo account holder in December 2023 asking if a charge on their card was legitimate. Authorities told Georgia ABC affiliate WJCL. When the victim replied, quote, no, unquote, they were then informed that a fraud investigator would be calling them to follow up on the charge. As promised, the other person called the bank. There was something that happened. They called the bank, and the bank was, whoever worked there said, hey, everything looks okay. And then they filed some sort of something saying, hey, I did get a weird call, but none of that helped anyway. They still got their account drained. It says, as promised, a supposed fraud investigator called the victim and asked for their banking information on the phone call. What? That already sounds very shady. I'll tell you something else to be careful of that I've heard about is when you answer calls from numbers that you don't know or companies. Sometimes it could be it could be a company. It looks legit. It might be a fraud. They are recording people's voices and then using AI somehow. I don't know. I haven't seen this technology, but once again, I just use a little bit of AI. I don't proclaim to know everything, but allegedly they are taking people's voices and using AI to then use your voice for nefarious activity. So be careful of that answering calls from numbers you don't know. Even just saying, hello, who is this? Some of these things, they can do those like 1 minute samples. Is not perfect, but you never know. I don't like to take chances. So just be careful out there, folks. So it says here, the suspect scammer then went to 5 different Wells Fargo branches in North Carolina and was able to obtain cashier's checks totaling over $20,000. Wow. But the person, it looked like they got caught. Yep, they were arrested. All right. So, but be careful, folks. Everyone works very hard for their capital, for their money. Just protect yourself. I can't tell you what to do. Protect yourself at all times. All right. So now, you know what? We're going to end off with the Ethereum article. I have the silver article, but we can cover silver tomorrow. So This article was titled, "Will Ethereum be declared a security by the SEC next week?" I try not to let things upset me. That upsets me so much. I hate to see, I hate that crypto is going through this. It says, I really do, it's ridiculous. And I don't like, what really steams me up? They have Gary Gensler's picture here. I don't like bullies, folks. I just don't, it has a lot to do with how I grew up, now I've never been subject to bullies, but I was the one who had to fight bullies. Yeah, that's me. But people around me, faced bullies a lot. And that's that's why I got into a lot of fights, is because of the people, protecting people around me. I'm not going to let those people get bullied. It's just not going to happen. Not in front of me. No, it's not. It's not. There's a reason. Like, learning boxing at an early age, learning martial arts also at an early age, and learning wrestling, man, let me tell you, it helped a lot. It kept a lot of stuff away, man. So anyway, I'm thankful to my father that he taught me at a young age. But anyway, because of that and my experiences and seeing how people treat each other, I don't like bullies. So I feel like the SEC is that. I feel like Gary Gensler is that a hypocritical bully. And so it is a little bit. I still remain calm, but it upsets me a little bit. The Securities and Exchange Commission may soon assert that Ethereum is a security in its expected rejections of several spot Ethereum ETF applications. A lawyer who specializes in digital assets warned on Tuesday. So this is coming from a lawyer. It's reputable. The regulator is due to decide on VanEck's application for such a product on May 23rd, followed by a final decision deadline on ARK Invest/21 shares application the next day. BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale also have applications on the SEC's desk. In March, the SEC put forth potential, quote, grounds for disapproval, unquote, of BlackRock's application and NASDAQ's proposal to list BlackRock's product. One question the SEC posed in its notice is whether NASDAQ, quote, properly filed its proposal, unquote. Wow. Under the exchange's rules for so-called commodity-based trust shares, requiring that trusts hold a, quote, specified commodity, unquote, Scott Johnson, a general partner at Van Buren Capital, described the question's inclusion as telling. Quote, the obvious purpose is to potentially deny on the basis that these spot filings are improperly filed as commodity-based trust shares and do not qualify if they are holding a security, unquote, he wrote on Twitter. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.